Hello, Randy. Welcome to Suisun Valley, California. This is your friend, Frank Vezer, sending you a YouTube for your wine club back in England. We're going to go up and meet Pam in the tasting room and see what she has for us today. Hey, Pam, how are you doing?
Good, how are you, Frank?
You're going to be videoing me for these lovely ladies in England, and we're going to be talking about some wines that they're going to be tasting this afternoon. So, here is the phone. And you got keys to the legacy room?
In my hand.
Why don't we go ahead? Thank you. And let's try it out. Ladies first. So it is a nice fall afternoon. It's about 55 degrees in Suisun Valley, California. We're about 45 miles north of San Francisco and about 1 mile from the Napa County border. Come on this way. So only VIPs like Randy and Doug Barrowman get to go inside this room, and because you guys are friends with the Barrowmans, you get to see what's inside. Come on in. So, let us open up a little bit of wine. And Randy tells me that you guys, you ladies, sorry, will be drinking a 2012 Zinfandel, a Cabernet 2013, a Gabrielle 2012, and a Verdelho 2014. I am going to be talking to you about all those because I have just recently done the recent tastings on these, and I am going to open up a bottle of Gabrielle 2012 for you so you can enjoy it with me as we sit and talk about these wines. It is important to note that a Cabernet is actually a genetically grafted vine that came from France, and it was created by a French monk about 500 years ago, and he wanted to create the full mouthfeel that we have when it comes to wines. With our tastes, we actually only have 3 tastes when it comes to wine tasting: sweet in the front, sour in the center, and bitter in the back. And Pam, could I ask you to close that door there, please?
Sure.
And Pam, it's a job requirement that you drink with me today.
Lovely.
So ladies, in Vezer Winery, we never do click the glasses. We don't salute because clicking the glasses used to be if you done it amongst people you didn't trust. We're all good friends at Vezer, and so we say, to the kingdom.
To the kingdom.
Come and enjoy. Have a seat, Pam. So, we started talking about the Cabernet. It is important to understand some of the heritages and the origins of grapes. The Cabernet was the grafting in the field of a true, honest red grape of France and of the wild white grapes of France. Something that is truthful, something that is honest, something that is blunt or very forward is described like myself and my name, Frank. In French, that would be François, and for short, that would be Franck. Contrary to common belief, wine is not red. Actually, if we would say it, it's closer to purple than it is red. But the French actually have a name for the color, not the grape. And that name is Cabernet. So Cabernet Franc means the true original red wine or purple, okay? Now, the wild white grape, or the mother to this wine, is known as something wild in French, in English, or Portuguese, or Spanish, or Italian, that would be described in the same word almost in all those languages. That word is sauvage, or savage. From the wild is Sauvignon, and Sauvignon Blanc is the white savage, or the wild white wine. So when it was grafted together with the Cabernet Franc, it became known as the red savage, the Cabernet Sauvignon. Now, the red savage did not take a commercial label for another 200 years after this French monk grafted it, because the Cabernet has some weaknesses and some strengths. And what they are is it's the strengths of the mother, and the strengths of the father leave the center palate transparent, and it leaves the soil or the taste of the grit or the minerals. If I was a sophisticated Naponian, I would say the terroir, okay? So that is the taste of the minerals that you are tasting in the center. So a Cabernet you can picture is like a beautiful vase. It doesn't have a bouquet and it doesn't have a ribbon around it. It is enough to satisfy most of your guests and to make a pleasing statement on the table, but it is much more enhanced when bouquet and the ribbon that wraps it around is added to it, and that is done by blending. It was 1797-96 that Chateau Mouton was the first ones to put out a Cabernet Sauvignon, or a red savage, unblended. Did not fare very well. However, they learned that this begged to be blended because the Cabernet has a perfect body of holding structure. And so by blending it, they became much more known and much more famous by the name of Bordeaux. And that is a combination of Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, and Merlot. Now in the US, we could never call a Bordeaux a Cabernet because it needs to be over 75% Cabernet Sauvignon in order for it to be called by its varietal. So in the US, most Cabernets are blended well over 75%, but still, the most complete wines are always blends. It's like I could give you the eggs, the flour, and the milk, or I can bake you the cake. And the completed blend of the Cabernet is always the cake. And we can have our cake and eat it too. So, we're tasting right now the Gabrielle 2012. This is a hillside vineyard. It is only 2 acres. It is a very secluded vineyard. It has had already in its first and second vintages, never heard of before, 98-point scores from the Songs of the Round Table held at the St. Regis Hotel in San Francisco. This is taking 5 master sommeliers and rating the wines under blind tastings and with other highly rated, well-known wines so that it keeps everybody honest as far as the ratings go. Now, the next wine that we are going to talk about is the 2007 Zinfandel. In Europe, it's known more as the Primitivo, which is a sister to a less famous grape come out of Croatia and crossed the Adriatic Sea to Italy. From Italy, it came over with the missionaries that came over to set up the Catholic missions throughout the state of California when it belonged to Mexico. And it slowly started getting blended and cross-contaminated, pollinated with other grapes and vines grown in the region, and it has developed its own taste and characteristics. Zinfandel is much like a Malbec. You can have a terrible winemaker. However, you can still have a pleasant drink with a Zinfandel. It is always going to give you enough of the fruit, a ripe plum, and it is going to have enough balance that it is not one that requires to be blended very much. However, a great blender for the Zinfandel is a small percentage of Petit Syrah that gives that fortification and that jamminess in the center of the Zinfandel and makes it a little thicker and a heavier wine. So it would be like a combination of, say, a Cab Franc and a Malbec right in the center. Zinfandel is a favorite and is the state grape of California. So it is easy to see why it is so popular here in California. There's two types of Zinfandel. There's the white Zinfandel and there is the red Zinfandel. The white Zinfandel is made from the exact same vines, same grapes, same cluster as the red Zinfandel. White Zinfandel is fermented without the skins and made very quickly and is a short aging wine. The red Zinfandel is a much thicker, much darker red, and it is fermented with the skins. And that Zinfandel can actually last 10 years plus. Contrary to common belief, it's even going on to 15 years and staying quite well. So our Cabernet 2013 is the Gabrielle, I believe again, or is it the Estate Cabernet? I'm not sure which one you had, Randy, but both of them are Sassoon Valley appellations. Gabrielle is the Estate, and the Reserve is the Sassoon Valley appellation. Sassoon Valley, by the way, is the second oldest appellation in North America and was the largest wine producing appellation prior to Prohibition in the mid-1930s. The last two wines that we're going to talk about is the Verdelho. The Portuguese would say Verdelho, and that is resembling a green wine. Verdelho is a wine that came from the Azores Islands. It was a lost and forgotten grape that was planted by Roman senators and retired soldiers that settled in the islands. And it is one of the few white, it is the only white Madeira wine. And the Madeira wines are typically made like the ports, fortified wines. However, it was in the Swan Valley in Australia that the Verdelho started taking a more table wine aspect to it and became a phenomenally famous and very popular wine in Australia. It was used in the United States as the white wine, kind of like the Petit Syrah of the red grapes. It was the white wine that fixed other wines. It would make a Sauvignon Blanc a little thicker, a little bit stronger, a little bit more character. It would make a Riesling, give it a little bit of an apricot, and a little bit more solid of a structure. Same with the Pinot Grigios and the Chardonnays. Verdelho was used as the band-aid and the secret agent to make other wines great. It was just so powerful that it intimidated the winemakers to make it as a standalone table grape, much like the Petit Syrah is made. So the next one is the Sophia. And the Sophia is a Sauvignon Blanc that is created late harvest, harvested at between 31 and 32 bricks, so almost falling right off of the skins. It is made a lot similar to the Tokaj, the Hungarian dessert wine, but it is fortified and moved up to about 19 to 20% alcohol using pure white 200% brandy made from grapes. It is a famous wine in the region. It is one of the few white ports ever made in California. We cannot call it a port because we do not hail from the Douro River region of northern Portugal or Oporto region. So we have to come up with different names. So I decided to name this one after my middle daughter, Sophie. Very classy, elegant young lady in a very classy, elegant bottle. So friends, that's all the time I have for now, and I'm sure I have bored you to death already. But Randy and Doug, we love you guys, and to all your new friends, take good care of our friends, the Barrelmans. You will absolutely love them. They're fantastic people. And here's to good health, good friends, and more love in the world. Take care. Bye-bye.